Hello, friends from the comic and manga world. My name is Hector,
And my name is G.
and we're here to talk to you about our picks for the FOC of August 7th, 2023. Now, for those of you who don't know, we both, G and I, work for Penguin Random House. As you can see, very big, the logo on the slide. And we manage sales into the direct comic market around the world. So titles that we talk about in these videos are from publishers that we represent into those markets. Also, note that we're in social media, so you can find us at PRH International Comics on Instagram, on Twitter, X, I guess now, on Facebook, and of course on YouTube. So, without further ado, let's get started.
All right, so my first pick is a manga, and this is The Moon on a Rainy Night. This is volume one by Kazushiro. And I definitely talked about this title before, but because we're at FOC, this is something that you definitely want to take a second look at.
Yeah.
So, as the cover implies, the fated meeting between these two beautiful ladies is at a rainy day, as happens, and Saki, the main character here, is like rushing to get to piano lessons, and as happens, there needs to be a meet cute.
Yeah.
So Saki runs into this beautiful long-haired stranger of a girl, and her sheet music like falls down, like she's like trying to like get her senses back together, and this beautiful girl picks it back up, gives it back to her, and just leaves. And she's like, oh, okay, like that was it. All right. Not thinking much of it after that. But the next day is the first day of high school for Saki. She walks into her classroom and then notices that the person sitting next to her, her desk mate, is this beautiful girl. And this beautiful girl's name is Kanan, if I'm pronouncing that right. And she notices that the girl is not completely deaf, but is hard of hearing. That would probably account for why like their first meeting was so brief and like curt. And this girl also has like a very cold demeanor. I don't think she realizes that. She just like tends to push people away. And so Saki is basically on this journey to try to break down I mean it happens naturally, but to break down the walls, and then emotions start pouring, and we have this love story between these two. And yes, completely all for this. Definitely one of my picks for this week.
Yes. Very cool. Next up, one of my cover picks is Fantastic Four number 11. This is the Alex Ross. Um, this is the main cover by Alex Ross. And this is very cool. So it has a Ben Grimm thing falling down with a house and his little dog too. And if obviously you should be able to identify that this is sort of an homage to Wizard of Oz. And then look at the description for this comic by Ryan North and Ivan Coelho, and you see that that's definitely it is. I'm just going to read it real quick. Ben Grimm wakes up to find himself in an impossible situation and facing certain doom. He, alongside the house he was sleeping in and everything in it, are in a free fall through a colossal metal hole, falling all the way to the Earth's core, where he'll be cooked, crushed, and destroyed. And as Ben tries desperately to save himself, a mysterious villain from the past is revealed. The Thing, working alone, must now save the Fantastic Four, the town, and a little dog too. So there it is. Very beautiful as always for Alex Ross, but I also love how especially awesome the concept is. And I love that they included Toto on the cover, the little
Yeah.
dog, and the story.
Little talk.
Yeah,
Really cool
very,
cover.
very cool. Very cool.
Okay.
And I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna say, as a fan of isekais, that's why I also love that story, because it's one of the original isekais. Never mind.
Mhm.
Sorry.
I was gonna say, I definitely could not pick more than one cover here for this annual for Spider-Gwen. So we have the um, variant by Ji Hyung Lee, and
Mhm.
we also have the Virgin variant, which is a 1 in 100. And this one, it's just very beautiful. That's why I love it. The ballet shoes, the fact
Yeah.
that like her pinky, like you even put in the details of it,
Oh, I
such
didn't
like
even
a,
notice the pinky.
it's
Yeah.
just like I don't know the way that it's
Mhm.
I don't know how to describe it. It's poised as if
Yeah.
like she's not dancing, but you can tell that she's a dancer just by the way that she's putting on her ballet slippers.
Yeah.
And then I just love it. I just really love this. It's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Very, very cool.
And then I also could not help picking this. This is the Merca Andolfo variant. And it's just a lot of fun. That's why
Yep.
I like it. We have a stealing of some ice cream, the horrific realization of what is happening by White Fox here. And I also, okay, I know this is very obvious, and like I do like when covers really match the premise, and that feels like it should be a thing. Like that should be
Yeah.
a given, but
Uh-huh.
it's not always the case, right? But I really
Yeah.
like it in this premise where we have like Gwen, who is just like ditching like chemistry lab one day, decides to go to a theme park and happens to run into White Fox, and they get into a like a little they get into a fight. I like how it's represented here on this cover. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Very cool. And also the main cover for that book, it's by Rico. It's very cool too. It has
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
both
just
of
had to
them on the
pick the
cover too. Yeah,
limited
yeah, yeah.
amount.
Like you said, it's like, yeah, it was
It's
hard to
hard.
pick. Because otherwise it wouldn't be the picks. It would be, here's all the FOC, which is what we would love to do. And then my next pick is Star Wars 38. This is the just the Cody Star Wars Clone Wars 15th anniversary variant. This part of the Dark Droids saga that's going on in Star Wars through all the Star Wars titles through the next month. And yeah, I love Clone Wars. I love all Star Wars, obviously, but can't believe it's been 15 years. But at the same time, I feel like it should be longer, because it feels like um, Clone Wars is so much part of the original stories. But yeah, it's 15 years ago the series premiered, and in honor of that, there you're going to see some covers throughout the Star Wars books, and this is so cool because this is one of my favorite characters. For those of you who follow the Clone Wars, the series, then you know that one of the coolest thing is that they gave personalities to some of the clones, and Commander Cody was one of them, together with Rex also, and some of the other ones, 345s, and some of the other ones. So, and this is such a cool like representation of that. And Eric just or EM just he does such a great job of getting that really the atmosphere of what the original, what he's painting on, represented. He has this other cover that he did for the Obi-Wan miniseries that Marvel did recently, and it has Obi-Wan, it has the twin sons of Tatooine and the orange, and it's sort of, it feels like you're there. And this is the same thing. I love the details on the armor. Like you can tell he's been through a lot of battles, and then the shots on the wall, because they were getting shot at all the time. So this is a very cool, very, very cool painting, but also very cool homage to the Clone Wars. Next up.
Okay, next up is Tear Us Apart. This is issue number 1 by Alessandro Maselli. And this one, I just like how, again, how the cover is representative of the premise here, and the premise is very cool. So you like definitely want to read this. We are set into the Canadian wilderness. I mentioned that. And then we have a vicious cult.
Yeah.
And then we have like this weird cult that has an ideology centered around pain and training children to become these like deadly assassins, right? But then a thing happened and two teenagers break the rule and fall in love. And to get that happily ever after ending that they want, they have to cut through and get through like a bunch of murderers. So, and then you have this cover, which is like, I can imagine both of them doing like heart hands and then
Yeah.
like blood splattered
Yeah.
all around.
And of course, because they're in the Canada, the white background, the Canadian wilderness, obviously the white, all white background.
The all
It's very
white
cool.
background.
Of
Mhm.
course. Very cool. Next is Star Trek, the motion picture Echoes. This is number 5, the final issue of this miniseries. This is the retailer incentive variant, 1 in 25 by Butch K. Mappa. And this is so cool. Not just because, you have a very, obviously, a very beautiful cover, but also the concept of having Uhura here and then having on the screens sort of all her versions throughout time. Uh, and it even has the, the the exact one from the animated series, which I used to watch also, and it has the newer one, the younger one that you see there on the second row from the bottom on the left, and that is because all the others obviously are actress based on actress Nichelle Nichols, who sadly passed away last year around this time, but also it has Celia Rose Gooding, who's playing her in the new show Star Trek Brave New World. Um, and for a minute that I was like, oh wait, we're missing the ones from the J.J. Abrams movies. Oh no, because that's a different timeline. So it makes perfect sense. And I love that it has sort of on the top right, sort of what she looked a little bit older, which is great too. And it's such a great sort of a way to honor her memory, and it's a beautiful, and it goes a little bit with the topic of the book too, but because they find alternate versions of themselves, but it is really, really to honor who Uhura and Nichelle Nichols especially is, not just to fans of Star Trek, but to women actresses and to everything that she means to women, Black women, and sci-fi fans. So very cool cover indeed.
I did pick another Star Trek
Staying on
title.
Star Trek, yeah.
Yes, it's Star Trek Picard's Academy. This is issue number 1. I was very, very much drawn to the variant B by Matt H. Taylor. And it's because we have these, it's always in the back of the classroom, some
Yeah,
disruptive students in the back, and Picard, who is kind of stressed
and obviously at
in
the
front.
front.
Obviously the front. And this is one of the new ongoing series that it's like a good jumping on point, and we get Picard, a young Picard, back
Yeah,
in his school days. So yeah, I'm definitely excited for this. Love the cover.
I just realized that we on the DC side we've been talking about a graphic novel for kids coming out with sort of a young Alfred,
Yeah.
and I think the personalities of Alfred and Picard are so amazing that I think IDW and DC need to do this crossover of young Picard and young Alfred together. I know it's very different, and Picard's in space in the future, and Alfred's not, but that would be so amazing to have those personalities clash. I'm just
Yeah, and
saying.
if you didn't know, I'm a huge I feel like Alfred is so like I don't want to I mean he is very underrated. Like I want and
You're
I'm
a
glad that
fan
we're
of
getting
Alfred. I know.
I'm
We
a
know.
huge
That's why I
fan.
mentioned it too. That's why we talking about Alfred too. But yeah, yeah, I
There
know.
needs to be more Alfred content
Yes, there needs to be.
in the
Yeah,
books, in
yeah.
the comic books. Okay,
Anyways.
and then next one.
And then my next pick is From the World of Minor Threats, The Alternates #1. This is cover C by Fabio Moon, the amazing Brazilian artist that you might know for a lot of things, but usually people recognize him right away from Casanova and from Day Tripper, which he did together with his brother Gabriel Ba, his twin brother. Um, and this is an amazing book for people who love the Minor Threats that came out, the miniseries that came out last year from Patton Oswalt, Jordan Bloom, Tim Seeley, Christopher Mitten, Tess Fowler, Ian Herring, and Nate Pickus. I started reading the names and I say, oh, I need to mention them all now. But yes, because it's very cool. And the story for this, if you don't know, it is within the world of Minor Threats. So I'm not going to go into that, but it's sort of a side story for other characters who's a sort of a B superheroes in the city of Twilight, where the story takes place. And as you can see in this cover, it involves sort of these superheroes gathering into a group type of situation where they're trying to better their lives and they try to get back into normal life. And one of the characters, I forget the name because she's in like her first, Mary Munoz, Mary the multi monster. She is talking about her experience because she's experiencing these visions and where she sees this wolf, and I guess things happen with the wolf in the visions, as you can see by this cover. But I love all the details. I love that you automatically know what's going on when you see them because they're sitting sort of in a circle in fold up chairs. So you know what's going on. And some of the other covers, like I think it's the main cover that has that character sort of grabbing a cookie from a table and you see the circle of chairs in the back, so you know what's going on in that sense. uh, I love that this is kind of very beautiful and mysterious at the same time, and obviously it's a very typical, like you can recognize this as Fabio Moon's art just for looking at it at first glance. So looking forward to this one too. Very cool.
Speaking of Fabio
Hmm.
Moon, and again, like some of these people I've never seen their actual signatures, and I like that
Yeah.
Fabio's is F with a crescent moon. That's
Oh, I never
awesome.
knew that. I never
Uh,
noticed that.
yeah, because I was like, why is it
Yeah.
SC? And I'm like looking closer. I was like, no, it's not a C. It's a crescent
Yeah.
moon.
Yeah. There you go.
Love it.
Very cool.
And we always have some piece of news,
Yeah.
and I'm particularly excited for this. And it is the new Daredevil run. And this one, the previous run, Chip Zdarsky was a fan of it. I've said it multiple times, so some of you may already know
Yep.
how much I enjoyed it. So this
Yes.
is the run following that, and we have a new creative team coming onto it. So we have Saladin Ahmed, and then we have art by Aaron Kuder, and then we have this cover by John Romita Jr. And I mean, he's done many covers for Daredevil, so it seems fitting that he would do the main cover here. And then I just wanted to show some of the other covers as well because they're
Yep.
really, really cool. So we have the variant cover by Frank Miller, but this will have a version variant as well, and fans will definitely love that. And then we have the foil variant cover by Alex Lozano, which is very, very cool. Again, it's like all iterations of Daredevil in the Rain, as
I
is the
know
normal
90% of
setting.
the covers with Daredevil or Elektra are in the rain.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
We have
And can we
Pepe
continue with the rain?
Larraz. Yeah, yeah. And then of course, Educure, we have the variant. There's also going to be a Virgin variant here. And like I mentioned these covers, that's not the only covers that's going to be revealed. This is just the ones that we have like available right now to show you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
There are more interiors that were revealed by Marvel, but I just selected these two just to show you a sampling of what it would look like. It's pretty cool. Like this is
Yeah.
awesome. And then another couple of pages here. Elektra's still around, which is great.
Yes.
Still protecting Hell's Kitchen, and yeah, I'm super excited for this.
Yes. Very, very cool. That is great. And that's it for this week. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you enjoyed it and it's helpful to you. As I mentioned before, we're on social media, so make sure to follow us at PRH International Comics. We're on Twitter, X, on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube. Make sure to do subscribe, notifications, that kind of thing, and also comment if you want. And we'll see you, or you'll see us next time. So take care. Thanks. Bye.
Bye.